So I know we've been talking a lot about buyers, and the thing is, I work with buyers usually,
Right.
not too many sellers, unless the seller is looking to sell a property and purchase a new property in the future. But I'm pretty sure that there has to be certain challenges that sellers face in this market, even though we are in a market that is competitive and sellers are selling their properties above market value nowadays. But are there any challenges that sellers are facing? And if so, what are some of those challenges and how do they overcome them?
It's a good question. Sellers, even though we're in a very strong seller's market, if the seller puts their home on the market and it's eligible for financing, we need to make sure that it's in financeable condition. So, what does that mean? If the roof is over 20 years old and the buyer is unable to get property insurance for the roof, if it's a shingle roof, then that home is not going to be eligible for financing. So we need to make sure up front that all of the things that need to be done are done so that we're not disqualifying any of the buyers out there.
Right. Yeah, because I'm assuming at that point you're really, if there's a lot of repairs that have been deferred on the property, that now you're starting to turn it into a property that more so investors are looking to maybe come in and undercut you on value. And many times you may be able to invest that money into the home to increase the value to a certain point that you actually get that money back plus more, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. And I actually work with a company, we partner with them, where if the home seller wants to bring, I typically give a home seller an as is and an as repaired value. And home sellers can get quite a bit more if they have new kitchens, new bathrooms. And so if they don't have the money to put out of pocket or it makes it tight for them, we do work with a company that we can partner with that will pay for those renovations as long as the home is listed for sale with a real estate professional, and then the seller will pay those upgrades out of the time, out of their closing proceeds.
Huh, that's very interesting. That's a very innovative way to make both sides win. You have the company that's actually investing in the home by upgrading it, and the seller at the end of the day is able to net more because they have an upgraded home, and it's a more appealing. So they have a lot more buyers that are looking to purchase a home because the home has been upgraded.
Exactly. It really is a win-win.
That made me think about investing because has that company's kind of started investing in that property, and right now we're in a market where yes, everybody's looking to purchase either primary residence, but I think that I found a lot more people are actually looking to purchase investment properties to set themselves up for the future. Whether it's just rental income or maybe they're looking for the appreciation in the home. But when it comes to a first time home buyer, would you suggest that they look into purchasing an investment property as their first property, or should they purchase a primary residence first?
So I would say yes, kind of a combination. I have a son that's 24 years old. He's going to be a first time home buyer. He was pre approved with you. And I've been encouraging him to buy a multifamily property, like a duplex, a triplex, a quadplex, a fourplex, so that he could live in one unit and rent the others and still take advantage of the 3.5% down payment or 5% down payment. So I think having your first home as an investment property is a great thing. So, living in one unit, renting the others, and then hypothetically, he could eventually put a tenant in the one he's living in and go ahead and do it again.
Yes, no, I definitely think that as long as a buyer is not married to their first home that they're purchasing, and normally the first home you purchase is not your final home. Probably on average, people probably live in the home for 3 to 5 years and they probably look to upgrade. And if somebody's open to purchasing a duplex or multifamily, like you mentioned, with FHA, it's 3.5% down, and you're getting an investment property for 3.5% down. That's you can't even think of.
It's unheard
Yeah,
of.
yeah. And then if you were to live in the home for a year and then repeat the process, you could go into a conventional loan and put 5% down, purchase that home, and then a year later, if you'd like to turn that into investment property, and you actually could start to really build an investment portfolio with 5% down on a property. If you look at anybody who's living in a primary residence now and they're looking to purchase an investment property, it's anywhere from 15 to 20% down for an investment property. So now the money that you normally use to put on, say that you're looking to purchase an investment property, the money that you would use on one property, you could have purchased 3 properties with that same down payment, probably even 4 properties. So I think that for anybody that's looking to build an investment portfolio, personally, I think that's definitely the best route, like you mentioned, the multifamily, and then move on from there.
Absolutely. And I think when you're looking to do that, working with a realtor that has their own income portfolio of income properties is really important, because being an investor is very different, as you know, than being a homeowner. So you have to really educate the buyer and have them think about things like, are they going to manage the property themselves? Are they going to have professional property management? What does that look like? And so really brainstorming with them and knowing the things that they're going to encounter down the road. I think it's very important that the agent that they're working with has that experience.
No, that's definitely true, because I like to think of, especially when you have a real estate portfolio, you have to kind of look at it as being its own business, meaning that you have to put together a team. Who's going to manage those properties? If the properties are in the same area, are you going to have the same person managing the properties? Also, things break on homes. That's just how it goes. Especially when you have an investment property, it just seems as if things break a little bit more often than if it was your own home.
For sure.
So you don't want to be the person, unless you really love doing that type of stuff, to be the person running around from property to property fixing things. So who will be the person that's going to repair those things? Your handyman, and even if you need a contractor for bigger jobs, or AC repair, those are some of the things that a lot of investors don't think about when they're first-time investors. So I know that you are an investor yourself, so you are pretty familiar with those things. So you could actually help to steer a buyer in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And things like, I have AC service contracts on each of my rental properties, and they go out and service them twice a year, because I want the air conditioners to last as long as possible, and they're a big expense when they go down. So just little tips that you're able to give your clients based on your own experience, I think is very valuable.
Don't get me started on ACs. They always seem to go out at the wrong time.
Always.
Usually, I think I'd love to know the stats on that. If all ACs go out around July, August.
It's like a rule that it has to be the hottest day of the year.
Yeah, right.
You know? Yeah, and preferably a holiday weekend. That really kicks it up a notch.
Exactly. I just thought about years ago where actually I had guests coming in from out of town, and it was Labor Day weekend, and my AC went out like 3 days before they arrived. It was bad time for everything. Trying to get a new compressor in such a short period of time is never an easy thing to do.
No, it's not.
So I know that we mentioned a couple of times that we're in a very competitive market, and we've been pretty competitive for about a year or so now. Where do you see things going in the next 12 to 18 months?
That's a really good question. I see things continuing the way that they are. I think that we may level off. I don't think we're going to have any kind of a decline, but I think things may level off. We do have so many people moving from, we always had people moving from New York and up north, but for the first time, I'm seeing people moving in from California. I think the ability of people to work remotely has opened up possibilities that just weren't there. And so if they're able to earn a New York salary or a California salary and live in South Florida, then it really is a game changer.
Yes, no, I agree. I think that there are probably areas of the country that will experience a little cooling off. But I think you have these hot markets, South Florida being one of the biggest,
Absolutely.
I was going to say just nationwide, but all across the world, people look at Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm as being one of those areas that you either want to visit or hopefully one day live in. So, yeah, you definitely start to see people coming from some of the northern states where maybe the weather isn't as lovely as, sunny Florida, or they're not getting the same amount of square footage or yard space and they have a family. So I definitely think that technology is one of the biggest things for a lot of companies. Companies are finding that they could save money by having their employees work from home. And in exchange, employees have all this additional income that they could actually move to a great state like ourselves.
Yeah, and no state sales tax, I think, is another big draw.
Yes.
I hear that a lot.
No, I think that we have some exciting things coming in the future when it comes to real estate. I'm definitely hope that you'll be open to joining me again as we probably update everybody in the next couple months on where everything is going in real estate.
Anytime.
And once again, thank you for joining me, Jabir Najjar with Rajan Mortgage. And Ellen, why don't you tell everybody how they could contact you directly?
Great, thank you. So Ellen Mitchell, and my number is 954-292-6412. And my website is homeinsouthflorida.com, www.homeinsouthflorida.com. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you, Ellen. And until next time, thank you, everybody, for joining me, Jabir Najjar with Rajan Mortgage.